On the Sidelines, Episode 3.
When the game ends and those Friday night lights dim,
that's the cue to turn our attention onto the very players, coaches, and community that makes football in Union County great.
Join Tim Winters as he covers the game from every angle, here on the Sidelines.
Hey Union County Football Nation, thanks again for joining me. This is Tim Winters, and we are on the sidelines today with Monroe linebacker Eric Heath. Eric Heath is a senior at Monroe High School, where he has excelled in the classroom and the football field. Eric has a 4.0 GPA and is a member of the National Honor Society and a key club treasurer. Eric, a linebacker for the Redhawks, amassed 190 solo tackles and 295 total tackles over his career at Monroe High School. So there's a little background information on Monroe's linebacker Eric Heath. Let's get to the interview. Hi, and this is Tim Winters here on the sidelines with senior linebacker for the Monroe Redhawks, Eric Heath, wore number 10, soon to be graduating. Eric, welcome to On the Sidelines.
Thank you.
Well, Eric, you're only a few weeks away from graduation. Looking back at your high school career, talk about how you've evolved as a player and as a student athlete.
I think I'm evolved as a player because, I grew, I can admit, my sophomore year and freshman year, I wasn't as mature. And it took, a lot of maturing to grow up as a player because, I knew I could play, but at sometimes I would be, a little childish or have a little attitudes here and there. And the only thing it was doing was holding me back, and I realized I had to lose that attitude if I wanted to be successful and be able to play. So overall, I think, my attitude and maturing is what made me evolve as a player and take it to the next level. And with, the student athlete, I don't ever think academics has really been a problem. I just had to learn how to manage and balance and get your priorities straightened out. So that helps. Football and academics can teach you a lot of life lessons put together and how to balance your time, and it teaches you other skills, and I think they work hand in hand if you're doing it the right way.
How difficult is it to balance the academic and the athletic side, especially, you're doing track now. You got track, you got football in the fall. How do you juggle all of that and put it together during the school year?
I think you just have to have a plan. For me, I take 2 AP classes a year. Then the rest of my classes are honors. So I know during school, I know I have to work extra hard to get my work done, at least get a good portion done. And then I go to football practice, I go to the sports practice, and before practice even starts, I even do a little bit of more work, so that way when I now get home, I can just, shower, eat, and then finish up the little bit that I've done, and then, just keep repeating, and you got to keep, having the same cycle and be consistent.
You talked about maybe being your own worst enemy as a freshman and as a sophomore, and how you've evolved as a player. Was that something that you just evolved on your own, or was that through the help of parents, coaches?
It was with both. It was especially with Coach Sal, because if you have an attitude, you're not really going to play, or he doesn't care how talented you are. If you're going to be a cancer towards the team or act out, he's going to treat you a different way. Then my dad sat down and talked to me, and he was like, well, you need to straighten that out, because if you don't, you're not going to play. Even though I was getting a good amount of playing time, I could have got more. But it's just the whole maturing. You got to realize if this is something I want to keep on doing, I have to mature.
Was that attitude also, were you in track as well during those years?
Oh, yeah, I did track.
Did that attitude carry over to the track side as well, or no?
Oh, no.
It was all football.
Football.
Okay. In terms of Coach Sal and the coaching staff overall, can you talk about the impact that they've had on you over the 4 years, and what Coach Sal means to you as a player and as a student?
Coach Sal and the whole coaching staff have done a lot, because they motivate you. They try to bring out the best in you. No matter, they don't want you to give them half of what you can do. They always want you to do 100%, even if it's not working, or even if you might fail a few times. As long as you give an effort, they'll take it. once you see people like that care about you and want you to succeed, they speak volumes about like the person they are, and like the whole coaching staff care about their players and the building. They make sure everybody is doing the right thing. And if you're acting up in the building, you're not going to play on Fridays. So you have to have your act straightened out throughout the whole week and at practice, or you're just not going to play.
To go back over your playing career on the football side of things, I mean, you've actually, over the last 3 to 4 years, I think you're now, were you a freshman at Monroe, or
I was a freshman at Parkwood.
Parkwood, okay. And then did you play football at Parkwood?
Yeah, I played.
Okay. And then when you transferred over to Monroe, so then that was the year you guys lost to Swain, right? So
yes, sir.
So you have been in a lot of big football games. Can you talk about some of the highs and the lows as a player?
It's just like the Swain game, like that was a huge experience because it really motivated us the next year to do better than the year before, which we did. But like once you play in those type of games, you can't prepare for that. It's just like a whole different atmosphere, and like everybody's coming out, like the lights are on, so you just got to play. And then like in the state championship, like that's a surreal experience because everybody don't get to play in that. Even though that was a high moment, it was also a low moment because we lost it at the end of the game. But I was a childhood Carolina fan, so to be able to play on the field, it was a good experience doing that too.
Yeah, they that Swain County was up at that Swain County game. It was a cold night. You guys jumped out on top of them and really quieted that crowd. And then I believe Quay got hurt at the end of the second quarter and didn't come out for the second half. But you guys still fought. Yes, I don't think any points were scored in the second half.
All the points were scored in the first half.
And were you playing linebacker in that game, or?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you got that was a I remember that was a cold night, a great game, and then that the Andrews game, the state championship game. I think it was a bad call. Personally, I think it was that bad interference call that kept that drive alive for them, and really got snake bit at the end. But you guys again. I mean, Monroe year in and year out. You lose a ton of players, but there are always players coming through the system, which is a credit to the player. But to the coaching staff as well. And you got in the position this past year, I guess you and Chase and a few others, you were pretty much the leaders. How did you take on that role? How did you accept that position as a leader?
I think we just had to take on the role because we looked at the guys before us, and we looked up to them a lot, and we knew like what they were accomplishing, and we didn't want it to be any drop-offs anyway because we seen like the way we were going, like in the few years, like we kept knocking in the door. We had like a little rough patch or whatever in the beginning of the year because we had some injuries and we weren't gelling at the right time because we had to bring up a lot of guys from JV. But once like everybody, especially the leaders, accepted, okay, we have to lead us out of this situation, it all comes together. And I feel like we were sort of destined for that because we had been playing varsity over there at Monroe for 3 years. So we had learned a lot. And like you said, a lot of good players come through there. So we took some of the stuff that we noticed from them when we were younger and took it and mixed it with us, like the people we are, and we just all put it together, and that's how we became leaders.
In terms of, growing up in this area, who has really inspired you in the classroom or out on the football field? Who's the one person that you look to for the greatest inspiration?
Probably my dad, because he's been through a lot, and he always, even if I don't like what he has to say, I know it's good advice because he always wants like me to bring out the best in me or whatever. So anytime like I need inspiration, I turn into him because a lot of times he can say stuff that he can bring stuff out that I can do that I just wouldn't do, or somebody else wouldn't say it, I wouldn't do it.
What are you most proud of during your time at Monroe High School?
I think I'm just most proud of growing as a student and as an athlete. You have to progress through high school to be prepared for college, and I think overall I've grown. And on the field, my most proudest thing was obviously making the state championship, even though we didn't win, but most people can't say that.
Absolutely. In terms of now, you've gone through the recruiting process. A few weeks ago, you committed to Johnson C. Smith. Can you talk about that process of recruiting? How long have you gone through that process? Did it start as a sophomore, junior? Talk about the camps that you've gone through and how stressful a period that was, if it was?
Yeah, the recruiting period is stressful because, like, you never know, because a lot of times coaches may lead you on like they're going to do something, like they're going to offer you, or, oh, we want you here. Then you don't hear from them, and then you're like, what am I going to do, or am I wasting my time? Because, like, you never know. You can't take anything for granted. You don't know. I thought maybe at some points, I thought, well, maybe this might be my last time playing football this past year, because, you know, you speak to a coach, and then 2 months later you won't speak to him, and then finally they come back. But, like, with camps, I think you need to go to as many camps as possible nowadays, because personally I didn't go to that many camps because I just felt like, oh, well, I can play, so I just show it in the games. But now everything is based upon, like, camps and rivals and this and that, and they rank people based off what they do there. So I think, like, all the younger guys need to attend a lot of camps because it's a lot of exposure there. And even if you go to, like, say you go to UNC Charlotte camp, it might not be UNC Charlotte coaches that like you. It'd be other coaches there too, so you can get your name out there and they can spread their word to, like, their coaching friends. So camps is very important.
All right. And in terms of that recruiting process and thinking about playing ball at the next level, how important was that for you in your decision? Did you want to play football in college?
Yes, sir, I did, because it's what I love to do, and I've been doing it for like 12 years now. So I didn't see why. I know I had the potential to do it, and I want to do it. So it just all had to come, like, to the recruiting process and who what I could do.
I think that what makes the county unique is it has a pretty organized and structured midget football system throughout, and so a lot of the kids that are playing in high school have played against each other or played on the same teams with each other as long as you said for 10 or 11 years. Can you talk about that development? Where did you first start playing, and just some of the players that you've played with, and one of the toughest players that you've played against over that period of time?
Well, first I started playing in Monroe Pop Warner League. That was like in first grade or second grade. And then I played in there for about 3 years. Then I was staying in Waxhaw. So when I hit middle school years, I started playing at Parkwood, and I played through Parkwood all through middle school and up to 9th grade. And then that's when I went to Monroe. But, like, around here, I played with a lot of, like, players. Like Max Robinson, me and him are very close friends. So me and him played together, like, those 4 years. Trevin Parker. I even played with some Cusperson people. Connor Gerlitz, I played with him in 6th grade. Cody Wilson. I just played with a lot of people.
Yeah, you do see that on Twitter where everybody's always ribbing each other, but also congratulating a lot of players, and you got a sense that this goes back a lot longer than just high school football.
Because, like, before, like, in middle school, well, there were, like, two people, the toughest people that I played against in, like, middle school and all up. One of them ended up being my teammate, which was Chase, and the other one was Albert, because they were both played at Sun Valley, and they were on the same team. So it was always hard playing against them, because, I mean, you have two of the best running backs on the same team. So, I mean, you can only try to stop one, because the other one's going to do, and they just alternate. And it was rough. Yeah,
absolutely. That's a scary backfield for sure. And you've always played linebacker for the most part?
No, in middle school I played running back, and I played linebacker, and I played, like, corner. So I sort of played all three of those. And then my freshman year I played running back. Mostly running back my freshman year at Parkwood. And I played linebacker also. But then when I transferred, I sort of just went ahead and stuck with linebacker, because I just felt like that would be my best position. And, like, in the scheme at Monroe, I fit there, like, really good. So,
what do you do best out on the football field?
I think I process the game faster. So once you do that, it slows everything down. And I have, like, a high football IQ, so that just makes everything easier. And I tend to, like, I can figure out, like, what a player's going to do, and I can read a player just based off film. So that's what I think my best attribute is.
All right. You're committed, as I said earlier, you're committed to Johnson C. Smith.
Yes, sir.
What do you see as your future plans, at least over the next few years? What you see yourself doing as you go through college and beyond?
I plan on double majoring either in computer science and criminal justice or computer science, engineering, and being a history major.
Well, don't hold back, Eric. Yeah. Wow, it's pretty good. With the goal of working as an engineer when you graduate, or
with the goal of working as an engineer when I graduate, and I want to sort of work at Monroe High as a history teacher because my favorite teacher is still going to be teaching there. He's the head of the history department, and I had him for like 3 years now in civics, honors, and AP U.S. history, and now I have him for 20th century honors of America.
And who was that teacher?
Mr. Fritner.
Okay, very good. All right, we're going to go into our quick fire questions now. Okay. Just shorter questions, shorter answers, and then we'll wrap it up. All right?
Yes, sir.
So, your favorite app on your phone?
Probably would be Twitter.
Okay, and you guys are pretty much on that. I see you guys are all the time. And how big a deal is that on a Friday night? Is that like the thing to do after a game? It seems like it's just...
Yeah, because after a game, everybody gets on there and say whatever they have to say. Sometimes you can be like, oh, well, you can disagree with what people say, but a lot of time, because, like, now everybody knows everybody. Or like you said, they either played with each other or played against each other for a long time. So everybody, like, put all their thoughts after the game on there.
All right, cool. If you had a chance to meet an athlete, living or deceased, who would that athlete be and why?
Probably LeBron James, even though he's a basketball player, just because he's humble at what he does and he's the best player in the world right now. And I like what he does with, like, charities. And, like, you never see him out in the news doing anything really bad or something like that. He's very mature and, like, he's family-oriented, so I like that.
Okay, cool. Favorite meal? If you, after a game or something, you just want some good comfort food, what would that be?
Philly cheesesteak and fries.
Hey, are you any family from Philadelphia, or?
Oh, no.
Yeah. Okay. Friday night football now, transitioning over to the college game, you're going to get, bigger crowds and everything, but you're going to have that element of Friday night football missing from your life. What did Friday football mean to you?
I think it's like an opportunity to represent your school, your community, and your parents, because, like, you will never experience anything like it, because, like, that's your chance to show, like, what you can do in front of everyone. And, like, some of the people you're playing with, you won't never be able to play with them anymore after that. So it's just like a surreal experience, because there's nothing like Friday night football.
Coming out onto the field with those lights, it's got to be a charge, right? Yeah,
because, like, sometimes in college, you only play during the day, so you're not really going to have those lights on anymore. So it's a whole different atmosphere.
Last question. This is one where we can suspend reality and dream a little bit.
Okay.
All right? So you have unlimited cash and the ability to move back and forth through time. Given those resources, what would be your perfect sports weekend? Friday, Saturday, Sunday?
Friday, I would definitely go to an NBA Finals game. And then Saturday, if it's like a UFC fight or something, I would love to see Ronda Rousey and John Jones, like, fighting on the same card. And then Sunday will definitely be the Super Bowl, because there's nothing like it.
Very good. Well, Eric, I do appreciate your time here with me on the sidelines. It was a pleasure, watching you play over the last few years here in the county. I know you're going to do great things at Johnson C. Smith. Thank you very much, and congratulations, and good luck.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Shortly after our interview concluded, a few days after the fact, Eric Heath decided not to attend Johnson C. Smith University and will instead become a Pirate at East Carolina University in Greenville, North Carolina. All the best to you, Eric, and we wish you nothing but success in the future. Thanks for joining me here on the sidelines, and don't forget to check out our website at unioncountyfootball.com for links and recap of this show and all our previous shows, as well as a ton more. unioncountyfootball.com for football news 24/7, 365.
Thanks for listening to On the Sidelines, the official podcast of UnionCountyFootball.com, the #1 online source for football information in Union County, North Carolina.